Another winter storm blasts the eastern portion of the United States. Good evening. I'm Lisa Spencer here, the Weather Channel in the Forecast Center, keeping tabs on our storm as it continues to move on up to the northeast. Now, we do have reports that there has been a state of emergency declared for Kentucky, and the governor there has actually closed down all state highways until further notice. Also, the state of West Virginia is under a state of emergency for this evening. Easy to see why when you take a look at some of the incredible radars tonight and check out the pictures that go along with them. We had snow and sleet on over to freezing rain, so potpourri of the three this afternoon in New York City. Of course, all this beginning earlier on in the day. Right now it is rain in New York and 37 degrees, and we expect those temperatures to drop as our front passes on by. For St. Louis, it was the first major snowstorm of the season and really socked it to them overnight. Residents were digging out from under 3 to 6 inches of snow, which covered a sheet of ice, and that made travel dangerous for morning drivers. Right now, we're talking about 5 degrees in St. Louis, so really quite a nasty mess through that area. Now, this is a look at where we've got plenty of snow. That's right. This is the track of that storm system. The white areas, which is just covering the Ohio Valley, indicates where we've had well over a foot of precipitation. And of course, 6 to 12 inches indicated by that darker shade of purple. Look at some of these snowfall totals. Oh, it's so impressive tonight. 23 inches, Cumberland, Maryland. Can you imagine that? That's about halfway up your yardstick. We're actually over that, so we're talking about some deep snow. Louisville, Kentucky has picked up 16 inches officially, and we actually had a few reports that 19 was possibly on the ground there, so they have got a lot. Allentown, Pennsylvania with 8 inches of snow, and it's not stopping now. As a matter of fact, rush hour tomorrow morning is going to be a nightmare for many folks, so definitely want to be extra careful across the northeastern part of the country as the slick roadways will continue. So if you have to get out to work early in the morning, make sure you've got all the necessary items along with you. Take something warm. You may get stalled in traffic for a while because we expect to see some more people sliding off the roadways because unfortunately what we have on the road tonight will likely freeze over. Now, not only are we looking at trouble on the roads, but also we've had some problems with the
situation along the eastern seaboard. Storminess continues all the way from Georgia up through the Carolinas. We've got ice, we've got snow, and we've got rain, a real mixed bag, and that's going to mean a real problem for traveling first thing tomorrow morning as the snow continues to come down, as Lisa showed you, in parts of the northeast. Heavy snows from Avoca back through the Poconos, and that'll be the big problem as we get into early tomorrow morning. We're not going to see any melting of the snowfall because of that icy cold wind chill coming in. And here's a check on radar as the rain continues to wind down through the Carolinas, thunderstorms in Florida, and the mixed bag along the eastern seaboard continuing. Take a look now at radar out of New York City as it continues to rain there. Colder air coming in from the west, and that'll change over what is falling briefly to some sleet and to some snow, but no real problems on the highways in New York, except the moisture that's there will freeze, at least the bridges and overpasses. Be extra careful tomorrow morning. Still raining in Boston. Big problem. Severe weather, springtime weather in Florida tonight as storms are raking the Tampa-St. Pete area up towards Pasco County. Now heavier rains heading towards Orlando and Daytona Beach. It will be cooling off in the Sunshine State, but not as cold certainly as it could be this time of the year. In Miami, you'll drop back to the mid to the upper 60s for highs on Wednesday. Could be a lot worse. But the Arctic chill continues sliding down through the plain states tonight. That'll sweep all the snow and the rain and the ice out to sea. Still getting a lot of ice around Washington and Baltimore. That's one of the reasons. That's the main reason the airport is closed now, BWI. Chicago's down to 8 below zero. International Falls, it's 27 below zero. That would be pretty cold if you were talking about a wind chill, just the wind chill. But that's the actual thermometer reading, 27 below zero. Dallas at 33. It's starting to cool off now in the eastern seaboard. Earlier it was in the 40s in New York. Now it's back into the mid-30s, and it's still cold out through Big Sky Country. But look at Burbank, California, 70 degrees out in the San Fernando Valley. Look at these wind chills, though. Chicago approaching 45 below zero. Feels like 70 to 75 below zero through the Dakotas, and that's the kind of stuff which will be heading east over the next couple of days as we get into tomorrow night and Wednesday along the eastern seaboard. And the infrared satellite photo picks up that cold air. Just all this blue up here, clear skies, but the clear skies mean that the infrared doesn't pick up any clouds. It just senses the ground temperatures, and you can follow the blue sweeping on down. Second in a series of Arctic outbreaks. This one is actually a couple of degrees colder than its predecessor. Our storminess arrives right up the eastern seaboard. There are the thunderstorms right there breaking out now. in parts of western Florida and the Gulf Coast. The west still protected by a ridge.